Guess who's back? Back again. Buzzpuck's back. Tell your friends, please. Welcome back to Buzzpucks. We're here to drink beers and tell you about
hockey.
The sport of hockey.
I'm Clay.
Specifically the NHL. I'm Bert.
Hi.
Hi. We're not as drunk as the last time you heard us, or at least I'm not. Clay drove here, so I hope he's not.
I raced.
But this is the lead-in episode for the beginning of the NHL season. We're recording this on the 10th.
First games of the season have happened.
I was just going to say, technically, the season has
two
started,
games in.
but opening night is tomorrow.
Yeah. So the first two games were the global games that were being played in Prague, which had some controversy coming up into it because the Czech government said no Russians were allowed.
But then they were like, okay, fine.
And all the hockey players were like, if one can't come, we're all not going.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a good point. It's not like they're the ones doing all that to Ukraine.
And that was Tomas Hertl saying that.
Oh, yeah, the hometown boy from Prague.
Yeah, the hometown boy.
He scored in the first game.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
He scored from his home. He opened the scoring.
No, he didn't.
I thought he...
No.
Oh, he opened the scoring for the Sharks.
He opened the scoring for the Sharks. I get it. Like, Europe is trying to be very anti-Russia right now, but it's not like the hockey players are the ones committing atrocities.
No.
Like, it's a pretty good bet. A lot of them probably live in the United States.
100%.
So, and a bunch of them probably escaped Russia to not be doing that stuff right now.
there.
But yeah, so Nashville won both of those games.
Yep.
Game 1 was 4-1. Game 2 was 3-2. I didn't really watch them because they were happening while I was at work.
I was driving to Buffalo. I was in the middle of a road
I
trip.
watched a little bit of the first one. I was listening to it at work. But,
I gotta say,
I had to drive home. So
San Jose's new white jerseys, super slick.
pretty crisp.
I like that a lot. Their color jerseys are a lot of teal. That's a lot of teal.
It's just teal head to toe.
It's teal head to toe. My college colors were teal. Like
a little teal's okay. All teal, too much.
I'm fine with a lot of teal, but that's too much teal.
It's like
have the black pants.
Like 5'10" to 6'5" dudes, all in teal. Yeah, why not just break it up with the black pants?
The black
That's
pants.
what it used to be, right?
I think so.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. And then it looked fine.
Yeah, have the black pants. That was too much teal. It hurt.
So much teal. All right, well, since we're through that, let's start drinking because we're going to start with not fun things. So what are we drinking, Clay?
We are drinking Big Ditch Brewing Company out of Buffalo, New York. That's where I went to a wedding.
As you just said, yeah. Congratulations to whose ever wedding that was.
Mazel.
Listen to our podcast.
So we are doing the Day Burner IPA. It looks like a session.
I like the can.
I've had Big Ditch. I haven't had this one. So
I was reading the label. It says the spirit of the Erie Canal. I thought at first glance it said water from the Erie Canal, and I was like, I don't know that I want to drink this now.
Yeah, because it's named after the Erie Canal. It's the Big Ditch.
Yeah, makes sense.
I've got a mule. Its name is Sal. Sal's on the can.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
not bad. If you like IPAs,
that is refreshing.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. I don't know that I said this in the actual show. We're going to try to make a little bit more of an effort to talk about the beer too this year.
We did not do it in that last 4.
We got too drunk in the last 4. I did anyway. That last episode, I was fighting back vomiting the entire time while I was talking. So apologies. I know one of our friends that listens told me she really enjoyed the Lou Lamoriello rant. So it'll probably be more to come, especially if the Islanders don't do very well. So what we're going to do in this episode is just kind of touch on some headlines that have happened in the last month, because that was when we recorded last.
Yeah, a month ago. So there's not a ton. A few signings here and there, nothing big. A couple of pretty big extensions. But really, unfortunately, the biggest news happening the last several months in the NHL, well, not really in the NHL, just for Hockey Canada, is that Hockey Canada is super flippant about sexual assaults and covering them up, and seeming like they don't really care that much.
Yes, they are.
Which has led to everyone else in the hockey community being like, hey, what are you guys doing? Like, there's a whole judiciary council in Canada, like, looking into it right now. And they did, I didn't watch the interview that they did, but I guess it was televised in Canada, where it was a woman. She was the interim director or something.
I believe, yes.
Yeah. She was just, like, very dismissive about the allegations and, like, covering it up, and just, like, clearly nobody cared. And it's just like, you guys aren't even trying to be contrite about this. And specifically, these are about incidents that happened. Mostly the incident that I think it was 2016
with
the Hockey Canada,
okay.
and then a further back one in 2003.
Yep,
that happened as well, where, let's just call it, sexual assaults happened on some poor women by hockey players.
Yep,
and then Hockey Canada covered it up.
Yep,
which, super duper cool. But yeah. They're now losing all of their sponsors. I think they've lost every single one at this point.
They've lost every single
including
sponsor.
Tim Hortons, Tim Horton played in the NHL.
Yeah.
Tim Hortons, Canadian Tire, Nike.
Big Syrup.
Is that really what it's called?
No.
I was going to fully believe you that they're just called Big Syrup. Big Maple. Cut them off. But they've lost I think every single sponsor.
And also the provinces. They've lost.
Yes, the provinces, hockey federations.
They've lost the states.
Yeah, they've all been like, we're not giving you money anymore.
It started with Quebec, who completely cut ties.
Yep.
Ontario said, we're not giving you money.
Yeah, and then Nova Scotia, I think, also completely cut ties. Alberta is the only one that I know that was like, we condemn what happened, but, we're in this together, or some stupid thing like that.
Also, all of the sponsors that quit and all of the things for, like, the provinces, this is only for the men's team.
Yeah, the women's team didn't do anything.
They're still fully sponsoring the women's team. I think the money's going more directly to them.
Yeah.
And even the Pee-wee teams are
sponsor
still being sponsored.
I want to say it might have been Canadian Tire, but I think there was one sponsor that was like, you know what, we're going to make our own, like, we're going to get a women's team, and we're going to, like, sponsor the shit out of it.
Yeah.
They're like, maybe we'll just give a bunch of money to, like, the women's hockey league.
Right.
And which, hey, that's great. You should do that anyway. But yeah.
And now you even have the Canadian Prime Minister going like, "Hey,
Trudeau is just like,
we might make our own league and just have it government. Like, we can call
that's a hell of a threat.
We can call it Canada Hockey, and it's just government.
Yep.
Like, we don't need you guys, and you're showing why we don't need you.
And all of the sponsors and the province federations. I keep wanting to say Providence. I know it's not Providence. It's province, provincial. Federations have been like, we'll think about coming back if all of the board members resign and we get a new board.
And they only got the interim board head.
Yeah, she's the only one that's resigned so far, which is kind of disgusting.
Yeah.
Because they've lost all of this funding. They've lost all of these other what are they now? They're just like a bunch of guys.
The saying is, don't fuck with the money.
The money's been done fucked with.
Right.
I can't believe they didn't all get ousted when, like, Nike and Tim Hortons were like, bye.
Well, Nike took a day. Tim Hortons was the first one.
Yeah, Tim Hortons was almost immediately.
Once all those immediately after the public interview.
Yeah.
And then once
Canadian Tire was
they
pretty
were the
quick after
first
that too.
Everyone just started following.
Everybody was like, "Ooh, Timmy's isn't Barnstone. No more Timbits for them."
If Tim says no, we're out.
If Timmy says no, we're out. Canada Tire's out if Timmy says no. Hey, there we go.
Tim Horton sucks as a person.
Did he? Is he alive?
No, he died in a car crash drunk driving following a game.
Oh, well, it's kind of. I mean, it's tragic, but okay. I mean, a lot of athletes are not good people. Which is the crux of this entire thing. So.
He's kind of like the one Hull.
Oh, like not
Brett,
his dad.
Yeah.
There's always one. There's always one in the family.
I think he's the same vein.
There's always one. Or that one guy.
But Tim Hortons is owned by like the people who own like Arby's and Burger King, I think.
Yeah, they're under some conglomeration.
Yeah, their coffee's been bad for a decade now.
I don't think I've ever actually had Tim Hortons.
It's not good. It's bad coffee, but I drink it because I like.
Well, it's like isn't it like it's like Dunkin' or?
It's worse than Dunkin'.
Oh really?
Yeah, it's worse than Dunkin'.
Dunkin's not that bad, I guess. But
I would say it's just as bad as Starbucks.
Ooh, that's bad.
Yeah,
that's pretty bad.
It's cheaper than Starbucks, so that gets me coming back.
Hey. I mean, what are we talking about? So Hockey Canada bad. Bad. All of your board you know what? Fuck them. You just be erased from existence. Make Canada hockey.
That first half of the sentence is what got people in trouble.
What? Oh, fuck them?
Yeah. It's got people in trouble.
Yeah, right. Fuck those victims. I guess let's touch on it really quick. There's no proof to this yet, but just yesterday, Ian Cole of several different teams,
currently the Tampa Bay Lightning,
with an asterisk, has been accused of grooming and I guess statutory raping, sexually assaulting a woman 10-ish years ago at this point. So I mean, he's not going to get arrested, but really gross. We won't go too much into it.
He was still in high school. He was playing for
the Blues, I assume.
And so I think a bunch of texts came out.
Yeah. Well, she took to Twitter and made like essentially an anonymous Twitter. It does have a name, but it's not her name.
Gotcha.
It's like I think it's Emily Smith, but that's not her real name.
So like Jane Doe, basically.
Yeah. And she tweeted out like this whole several paragraphs of what happened. It's pretty gross to read, but it really looks bad. Yeah. And on top of that, not only is it a horrible thing for Ian Cole to do, but apparently, according to those paragraphs, he bragged about it to his teammates, so his teammates knew about it.
Right.
So I don't even know who that would be from back then.
Right.
And I'm just assuming it was the Blues, but I guess it could have been the Penguins too. I'm not sure.
I think it kind of suggests his time with the Blues.
I think she said 3 or 4 years into his career was when it started. So I think that would still be with the Blues.
Yeah.
So pretty gross.
Yep. So Tampa Bay has suspended him pending investigation. Yes. That's where the asterisk is there.
Yeah.
And
because there's no real like actual proof of this happening yet, but I don't know. Those were some pretty damning and very specific things that she said. So we'll see where that goes. But if that comes out true,
he's done.
Goodbye.
Yeah.
You're gross. And any teammates that knew about it, you're gross too, and you knew. Yeah. And you know in your heart. We might not know who you are, but you know. You know. Anyway, let's talk about...
last thing.
Okay, go
because
ahead.
There is still one RFA left on the table.
Yeah.
That is Ottawa Senators Alex Fermenton.
Who is somewhat implicated in
very
the
much
Canada
implicated
thing,
in the 2016 incident.
Yeah.
Now...
It's weird how many of the NHL players that were on that team were like, I was on vacation in the Bahamas when that happened. Here's my flight records. You know?
Right. But, I mean, Kyrou and Thomas, also of the Blues, are also both implicated in that event.
Right, yeah.
But they are so good that they, got a big payday recently.
I guess. Or maybe the Blues are confident that their alibis are correct.
Yes. But
they are very good too. Fermenton less so.
It's not looking good for Fermenton.
Yeah, like you were saying before we started recording, it's the hot versus crazy
scale. Yeah.
Where at a certain point it doesn't matter anymore.
Right. Well, also like
it's like Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown's a really good example of this.
You have to be so good to like Alex Fermenton's level. He needs to be a better person for how well he plays.
But like for my example with Antonio Brown, like he is still probably very good at football. He's
too crazy,
batshit and crazy.
Did you see the hotel pool incident?
Yeah, man has a.
How are we not? One, it's very upsetting
really funny picture,
for
too.
those people who are in the pool witnessing this. But also, how are we not talking about how he has a hammer?
Oh God! I actually think the picture's really funny.
It's like my forearm.
It's like, if you guys haven't seen it, was it the New York Times that posted it blurred, quote unquote, and it was
kind of
barely
blurred. It's blurred.
Oh, there you see a poor lady who's like a middle-aged lady in the background.
She's
That's
horrified.
just like, what's happening? Oh boy. So anyway,
I mean, I know Florida has a lot of snakes, but is the one in this pool?
I saw somebody make a joke similar to that. I was like, what are they talking about? And then I saw the picture. I was like, oh, that's what they're talking about. All right, let's talk about
the
hockey.
Picture popped up. I wasn't even going to look for the picture. It's just like, oh my god.
I think it was when I saw it was somebody tweeted like, oh, thanks New York Times. That's a really good censor.
Jesus
right
Christ.
There. Oh boy, they wanted you to know. New York Times was like, you know what, we can only slightly obscure this.
New York
people
Times
need to know.
always makes the right choice.
Always. They have a history of it. Anyway, let's talk about hockey.
Jesus Christ.
I'll start us off. We can just go back and forth on stuff if you want, because we're covering teams.
Yeah.
I wrote down some like overarching things as well.
Like you said, it's the 10th of that we're recording.
Mm-hmm.
Home season starts the 11th. I believe it opens with the
Tampa and the Rangers.
The Lightning at Madison Square Garden.
Yep.
And there's another game that night.
Colorado. It's a West Coast game. I don't think it's Colorado. I want to say it's the Kings and somebody.
You start talking.
Okay. I'll start off with the media availability is back to the pre-pandemic level.
Okay.
Which I thought was an interesting headline to see. I had seen a couple of people, a couple of the Penguins beat writers tweeting out like, oh man, it's actually really nice to be back in the locker room and like see these guys face to face and not from like 12 feet away,
right.
You know, which led to some funny things, at least for the Penguins, for instance.
Kings Knights, you're right.
Kings Knights, okay. Like, for example, I think it was Malkin, because Malkin is actually like a silly boy.
Yeah.
And he walked into the locker room and all the media people were like, oh, Gino. And he was like, oh, look, Sid. And then he tried to run away. And then like the next day, Coach Mike Sullivan did the exact same thing because he thought it was funny. He was like, right. Oh, look, Sid's right over there.
Yeah.
It's funny. So we'll be seeing more of that and more of the, like shittier reporters in there as well. Did you see the thing that Steve Simmons tweeted out?
Oh, my God.
About Akeem Aliu? Steve Simmons is disgusting. It was a very, it was a pretty racist thing.
The overarching thing, what's the one guy's name?
Akeem Aliu.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
I think that's how you say his name.
Whatever Steve Simmons...
He's a Maple Leafs reporter, but he is like a trash man.
His tweet was basically, racism doesn't exist because... like Akeem Aliu says
because he's not even good was basically
because he's not even good because look at Wayne Simmons, he's had a 12
and then Wayne Simmons was like, eat a dick.
Oh
Steve
my God.
Simmons.
Yeah.
He was like, no,
you're not black, you're not a person of color, you don't get to say anything.
Steve Simmons, for everybody listening, is also the guy that just made up the hot dog story about Phil Kessel that people still believe is true. So he's a really cool guy.
Yeah.
All right. So moving on. So I just thought that was interesting. The media gets to be back in the locker rooms now.
Great.
That might piss off some players.
We get to get more robotic. Got to get pucks to the net, drive pucks.
I mean, we were getting them anyway,
I
so
know,
it doesn't
true.
matter. At least there will be cameras right in their face, like 4 inches away from their faces now. Jonathan Bernier will not be ready for the start of the season for the New Jersey Devils.
Nope.
He's still fighting a hip injury, I think. Carl Hagelin, I thought this was nice. Not going to be ready for the beginning of the season either, but he is working his way back from an eye injury.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah,
he didn't lose his eye?
No.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so he was back doing rushes with the team. I believe if I remember correctly, there's no timetable or if he will ever return, but I guess he can see enough.
He might have to retrain that eye.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure.
Enough, so.
And the Colorado Avalanche signed Evan Rodriguez, formerly of the Penguins, for the last few years, to a 1-year, $2 million deal. So that's double what Rodriguez was making with the Penguins last year, I think. He was a good depth forward for them last year. So there was just not a lot of cap space to be thrown around this offseason.
No.
But that's why it took so long for him to sign.
So that's,
but he gets to go to the reigning champs.
That's why there's so many PTOs.
There's a lot of PTOs.
Sonny Milano didn't get picked up.
Oh, did they drop him from the PTO? Really?
Yeah. Well,
wow.
He didn't show up.
Oh, well, you know. I was surprised he wasn't re-signed just kind of in the first place with Anaheim.
Was more because
I thought he had a pretty good season, right?
His stuff is good on analytics, but he's also one of those guys that it's like if you watch him, it's like, wait, when did you play? Except for like a couple flashes.
Yeah, and
I didn't watch Anaheim as much as I should have or wanted to.
That's hard.
So,
we're on the East Coast; they're on the West Coast.
Basically, looking as like he was trash defensively. So he's got a lot of talent, but just not the full brains.
Well, there are some forwards that are like that, but you have to be scoring at a pretty good clip for people to be like, nah, you don't have to play defense. It's fine.
Yeah,
you have to be scoring like 30 plus goals for everybody to be like, it's fine.
So he'll get an AHL contract, but
probably it'll be interesting to see with who. I'm sure if he does, he'll get called up eventually because of injuries. I mean, he's good enough to play in the league. It's just again, not a lot of cap space to be thrown around this offseason. Although I think Anaheim has quite a bit, so that's why I was surprised he didn't get a contract. You want to go?
No, go for it.
Okay. The St. Louis Blues, while we were away, re-signed Jordan Kyrou, as you mentioned before, to an 8-year, $8.125 million deal.
Now,
pretty similar to Robert Thomas.
Yeah, no, he's good.
Him and Thomas both had huge seasons for St. Louis last year, and both of them got 8-year, $8+ million
they got rewarded for it.
Yeah. Both of them were, I think, close to a point a game, if not a point a game. Yeah. I think Kyrou only played 70 games, but he had like 75 points or something like that. Similar numbers for Thomas as well. Tom Wilson, seemingly ahead of schedule for Washington. So he's still going to probably not be back until mid-November, but ahead of schedule. That's good.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Jake McCabe had back surgery and will be out until late November for Chicago.
That's not good.
No, Chicago's going to be bad anyway.
Someone just got... Chicago just got someone from Vancouver.
Oh, I'll get to that a little bit later. Cool. These are in kind of chronological order of how they happen, and they're a little out of order. But finally, also for Chicago, at least finally on this page of notes, Marian Hossa's number 81 is going to be retired by the Chicago Blackhawks on November 20th against the Penguins.
Good for him.
Yeah,
good for him. All right, so I don't have anything. I'm going by team. I'll start with Pacific. Since we last recorded that month ago, Vancouver has not done anything besides that one trade, which I only saw like right before we started recording.
It a little bit. It wasn't like a huge trade. It was like mostly like a cap trade.
It was for like a second, in 2024.
I'll get to it.
All right.
It wasn't very much.
No.
It was not a blockbuster deal by any means.
The Ducks? The Ducks signed someone signed a defender whose last name is very French.
Okay, do you want me to look at it? Well, your handwriting's terrible, so I probably can't read it anyway.
Is it Bellier? It can't be Bellier.
Oh, it's Nathan Baloo.
It is just Baloo?
It's Baloo, yeah.
All right.
Because he was on the Penguins last year. He never played.
He was on Winnipeg, too.
Yeah, Winnipeg traded him to Pittsburgh, but he was like on IR.
Gotcha.
And they were like, oh, this is depth for the playoffs, and they lost in the first round, so it didn't matter.
Baloo. It looked like that, but it just looked too easy. I've been burned before. So they signed him to 1 year, 0.85.
Like Philippe Denault.
Philippe Denault. All right, so that's the Ducks. Now,
let's fly together.
Next up is Calgary, who made some moves.
They did do some stuff, yeah.
First thing is they signed Brett Ritchie.
That's the big one.
That's the big
one, baby.
1 year, $750,000. He played 41 games last year for them.
Oh, so they just re-signed him.
Yeah, they just re-signed him. But what they did is they extended Mackenzie Weegar.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I mean,
8 years, 6.25.
Not bad. He's a pretty good defenseman.
He is. He's very good shutdown.
It would have looked kind of bad if half of the trade they got for Tkachuk walked in the offseason. It would have looked a little bad.
A little bad, but like what Calgary did this offseason,
I think Calgary's better.
Was
than they were last
amazing.
year. Yeah.
Because 200-point scorers forwards walked. They wanted out and they left.
Essentially walked, yeah.
And they turned it around and got Huberdeau, Kadri, and Weegar.
Pretty good.
I think they won the trade.
Pretty good.
Like,
Yeah.
depending on how this goes, this might be like, you don't have to win a trade. This might be considered a winning of a trade.
I mean, flipping Tkachuk for Huberdeau and Weegar is pretty good because not only are you getting a 100-point scorer in return, not exactly the same player, but, still very good.
Yeah.
More of a playmaker than a power forward, but that's fine.
They both
and then they added a pretty good top 4 defenseman in Weegar as well, and they extended both of them.
So those big cap hits of 10.5 and 6.25 for Huberdeau and Weegar, respectively, don't kick in until next year.
Yeah.
So,
but I think they got better, and then on top of that, they added Kadri.
Exactly.
So now your top 2 centers are Elias Lindholm, and who also had like 80 or 90 points last year, right? Centering Gaudreau and Tkachuk. And
I think he had like 90.
Yeah, so still great. So I'm sure he'll play with Huberdeau. And then your second line center is Nazem Kadri.
Yeah.
Really good.
It's
So you got Markstrom there, they're fixed unless they implode.
Right.
Because, of course, they could. But they're fixing to have a good year.
They signed Sutter to a 2-year extension.
Yeah. He really turned them around. Yeah, he really turned them around because before he got there, they were sputtering pretty bad.
They were spiraling.
And he got there, and
immediately defensively got better.
Yeah. I think I saw he did an interview where he said when he first got there, they were the worst conditioned team he had ever seen.
No.
And he was like, oh, my God, you guys are going to bag skate all the time.
Oh, no.
And then he got them back in shape, and look what happened. They didn't win the Pacific, or did they?
They
did
won
win
the Pacific
last year. And, yeah, they lost to Edmonton, but they made it to the second round.
Yeah.
Had a great season, and then disaster happened. And then they turned it into something good. So, they're rolling with the punches, better than any team I think I've seen in a while.
Yeah, good on Trevelier.
Yeah.
All right, that's
tree living.
Tree living?
Yeah. See?
I get burned all the time.
You're trying to... I don't even think he's good French.
I don't think half of them are French, and then they are.
Oh, boy.
Are
you gonna mention the Montreal player whose name begins with X, who made the team?
No.
Good, because I'm not 100% sure how to say his name either. But once he plays, I learned this today. That'll complete the name alphabet for the NHL and Montreal.
Really?
He's
the only X?
No player has ever played in the league whose last name began with X. Bless
Excuse
you.
me. One more. Excuse me.
Did you guys like that?
Yeah. I tried to be not in the mic, but we'll see. Sean Durzi got signed by the Kings.
Ah, yes.
2 years, $1.7 million.
He's a young defenseman,
Yep.
right?
He played 64 games for them last year.
Shoring, keeping their younger guys.
Yeah, it's really.
There.
Yep.
Young depth guys.
He was a big one that they really wanted to keep. Yeah. So
you should try to keep your young guys as much as you can.
Even though they didn't do it with a qualifying or RFA as an RFA.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I remember that. They didn't give him a qualifying offer, but then they re-signed him anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, because especially for defensemen, they don't really hit their prime until like
much later,
mid to late 20s sometimes. So keeping young defensemen, I think, is always a good idea, unless they're just really bad.
Because defensemen, you have to take time to learn to read the game at that speed it's going.
Yeah,
in.
it's hard.
So
it's hard.
And some guys just don't get it.
Yeah, some guys just never figure it out. And, they still kick around the league some.
Yeah,
But,
NHL's fast.
yes, it is. The fastest, some might say.
Some might say. It's because they got that smaller rink. Vegas didn't do anything.
They can't.
Oh, no, that's not true. That's not true. Today.
Yeah.
What's his first name? It's
Nick.
Hague. Nick Hague. Signed a 3-year, 3.35
somewhere around that. Yeah.
Deal.
Another young defenseman.
He was one of the second to last RFA to get signed.
Mm-hmm.
So he was holding out. I don't think his holdout wasn't that smart.
He's kind of a 6.
Yeah,
5'6" defenseman, really. But
so the fact that he got the contract, 3.5 is good for him. He just might get flipped at some point because it's Vegas.
Knowing Vegas, probably next year.
Mm-hmm.
Because they don't seem to really care. About their players.
If it's 2 years from now, that makes sense. But
yeah, if it's
coming
next
up
year, to free agency. Yeah.
All right, so that's Vegas.
Vejas.
Nope. Seattle didn't do anything. They signed some PTO
I'm sorry.
guys.
What do you mean they didn't do anything?
Oh my god.
They have revealed.
Oh my god. I can't believe
one of the crazier choices I think they could have made for a mascot in Bowie the Troll.
You got to pay the troll toll. That's what the season tickets holders do to get their tickets.
Oh man, if they don't reenact that video with Bowie of that Always Sunny skit where it's just like, you gotta pay the troll toll to get in this boy's soul.
You gotta pay the troll toll to get in. Yeah, so the season tickets are now called the troll toll.
I'll pay the troll toll. Their arena looks cool. I'll go into there. So they did it, in case anybody is questioning, because there is a famous piece of, what did you call it, hostile architecture?
Yes.
In Seattle, known as the Fremont Troll, which is underneath a bridge in Seattle on Fremont Street.
Yep.
It's pretty famous.
It's a beloved piece of artwork.
It was built to stop homeless people from living there, which, I didn't know that. But Clay, for some reason, knows horrible facts about everything and always hurts my fun.
They used an actual Volkswagen Beetle that the troll was grabbing. That's pretty cool.
That is cool. The art itself is pretty cool. At least it's not just a wall.
Yeah.
At least it's art, I guess. But so Bowie is supposed to be the nephew of the Fremont Troll.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very disappointed that their logo or their mascot wasn't just Cthulhu or something that looked like him. But
that would be horrifying, but
did you see the picture I sent you of that guy from Star Wars that's just a squid head?
Oh yeah.
And there's a picture of him.
The Mon Calamari, yeah.
No, it's the other of them. It's not the Mon Calamari. It's like the other one. Its head is literally a squid.
Right. I thought that was the Mon Calamari.
No, the Mon Calamari is
Kit Fisto dudes.
No. They're
those are
Akbar.
It's a trap. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh shoot.
It's the trap. But apparently they're from the same planet.
They are.
I'm going to be a big nerd right here, but I do not remember what their names are.
I can't think of them.
They
had a civil war. I can be just as nerdy as you.
There's a picture of I guess because one is in the original trilogy, so it's a picture of the guy with the squid on his head, just like giving a thumbs up to the camera. I'm like, how do you not make a deal with them to get that guy to be your mascot? It would have been so funny.
No, you picked an 80s troll doll. You slick backed its hair.
Well, you just picked somebody from Seattle to be the mascot.
You gave him meth.
I love you, Seattle.
I also want to say it's listen, I'm a white guy, so to say what's offensive and what's not offensive is kind of not my place.
It's neither of our places.
But
well, actually, no, never mind.
The feather that
you don't know what either one of us looks like.
The feather in his hair kind of put it you gotta they kind of put like a Native American slant to it.
Well, and, Seattle is kind of all about Native American stuff up there.
They do have a large indigenous population.
and they try to put that into like art and architecture of the city a lot, which I appreciate. But not that I'm a member of any of those tribes, but
a lot of PNC, PNW,
Pacific Northwest.
Yes, Pacific Northwest indigenous tribes art super cool.
Oh yeah,
their art.
They're the ones
so
with the
cool.
They're the ones with the sweet totem poles that have like orcas and stuff on them.
I mean, look at Vancouver's.
It's the what the Vancouver logo is, is based off of. Yeah.
But I don't know. I saw the troll doll and it's just like that feather makes it offensive.
Welcome to the league, Bowie. Everybody will forget about you in like 2 weeks, probably.
You're not Gritty. Gritty will kill you.
Gritty does coke and like punches people in the stands. So
part of his backstory, it says he drinks hot dog water that leaked from the.
Does it really say that? That's such a Philadelphia thing. It's so funny. We found him in the dumpsters behind the arena, and we made him our mascot.
Right.
Oh God, Gritty. Gritty's just so horrifying. I love him. I mean, the Penguins mascot's just a penguin.
You're right.
Gritty is just the psychosis of Philadelphia embodied.
Well, Jean-Claude Van Damme killed.
How dare you? That was the first iceberg. All right.
Oh, okay.
This is Iceberg Jr. He is not a criminal like his father. Anyway, let's move on. You got any more for the Pacific?
I don't think I do. Oilers kept it low key.
Yeah, they don't really have much cap space to do anything.
Ryan McLeod. It's McLeod.
Is it McLeod?
Yeah, it's McLeod.
Okay. I actually didn't know how to say his name because it's Leod.
Yeah.
So I was like, is it McLeod or McLeod? Yeah, what about him?
1 year, just shy of $800,000.
Cool.
He played 71 games for them.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize he played that much last year.
So he's very depth. He only scored 9 goals and 12 assists. So
which is insane. I mean, not that he plays with McDavid or Draisaitl, but it's so funny to look at teams like that and be like, wow, they score all of your goals, huh?
Yeah. So, I mean, he's 22, so...
He has room to grow, certainly.
And then last up is the
Nucks.
Sharks.
Oh, the Sharks. Oh, you did the Nucks already.
Yeah, and they didn't do anything other than
start the season off
0-2. Yeah.
It's a good start.
I saw
couldn't even split that series.
I saw an article that they were, even though they lost both games, that they were hopeful for the season.
No, you shouldn't.
It's one of those things of it's a new GM, it's a new coach, it's a bunch of new players.
Yeah,
so just have fun.
Yeah, go out and have fun. Why not?
Lose a bunch, but have fun.
All right, let's talk some other headlines. The salary cap is apparently going to go up fairly rapidly in the coming years. What's it called? A primer for what the league thought the salary cap was going to look like. Went out to all the teams, and it looked like it was going to go up by another $1 million next year.
Oh, that's good.
But after that, it would jump like $4 million for like 3 straight years.
Cool.
So for like 4 years from now, it'll probably be like $10+ million more than it is right now.
Cool. I mean, we've mentioned that a couple of times. It's
yeah,
speculative, but this is more confirmed.
Well, last year was the first time the NHL ever made $5 billion in profits.
Wow.
So I think that's what it was based off of.
Yeah.
Yeah. The NHL and NHLPA together are determined to return to the Olympics for the next 3 Olympics at least.
Ooh, good.
Is what they made a joint statement about it, as well as bringing back the World Cup of Hockey.
Good.
That they did a few years ago, which was kind of fun.
It was kind of fun. You had North America versus
I think they
US
said
and Canada.
Yeah, I think they said they're actually going to do away with they're going to have US, Canada. They're just going to have country-based teams and not Team North America,
right?
Which was all of those guys from U.S. and Canada that were under 25 or something.
Yeah.
And then Team Europe, which was just all of the European players whose teams weren't Sweden, Finland, or like the Czech Republic.
Because McKinnon was on.
Yeah. So is
America.
McDavid.
Yeah, they were on North America.
Yeah. And Draisaitl was on Europe. Mm-hmm. So. I think they said that they're going to do away with that and maybe do like a little play-in tournament for smaller national teams.
Cool, that'd be
so
fun.
Like the big national teams like U.S., Canada, Sweden, Finland, maybe Russia. Who knows at this point with Russia. Will be there, and then they'll have a play-in tournament for the other ones.
Yeah.
So I think that's fun.
Cool.
Yeah, it's like a mini Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
Dale Hawerchuk, may he rest in peace, will be getting or he already did get a statue that was unveiled in Winnipeg.
Yes, he did.
Earlier in the preseason. So, if you guys don't know, he was a very good player, Hall of Fame player, who played for the first run of the Winnipeg Jets and then a few other teams. Most notably, I believe, he won the Stanley Cup with the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Gotcha.
In 2004.
Yes.
He passed away in 2020 from stomach cancer.
Gotcha.
So, very sad. May he rest in peace. But he has a statue now, immortalizing him forever.
It's a pretty good statue, too.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Speaking of Winnipeg, they stripped Blake Wheeler of the captaincy.
Oh, yeah, they did.
Which...
And Schleifele of the A.
I don't know. Did they announce that?
They said full leadership.
We'll see. I don't think they announced who all of their alternates are yet. But they're not going to have a captain this year. And Wheeler was, I guess, thankfully for him, told that it was going to happen before they went and talked to the media, which was nice of them. Because that would have just been really shitty of them to be like, hey, shut up.
Right.
But if you guys remember, I think we mentioned this in the preview episodes, but Scheifele and Wheeler, specifically those two, have been accused of not being the greatest teammates / leaders. Just overall being dicks to their teammates and younger players especially. I guess management... Do they have is it the same management from last year? I don't know. Management is over it.
No, it's not Maurice. So
Maurice moved on. He's in Florida.
I think it was a bench coach that came up. I can't remember.
I think it doesn't matter. But they stripped Blake Wheeler of the C. He was gracious in it, and the only person who seemed shocked by it was Mark Scheifele.
Yeah.
So he was like, I don't know how they could do this. Blah, 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 blah. It's like, you were also like one of the problems.
They don't.
So.
Then I'm wrong. They probably didn't take his name.
I don't think that if they did, they haven't announced it yet.
Yeah.
So. Right. Here's going to be a popular topic. There's going to be jersey advertisements this year for, I think, 7 teams, including both of ours.
Yep.
The Canadians.
Which
the Maple Leafs.
I think almost caused a riot in Montreal.
What is it? Because it messes up like the aesthetics.
It's blue.
Yeah, it looks...
It's blue, and it's not even the Montreal blue.
Yeah, it's a different blue. Yeah, I can't remember who that sponsor is, but at the very least for like the Penguins...
It's not even Molson.
No. For at least the Penguins, the Capitals, and the Maple Leafs, I haven't seen all of them, but those ones at least, they made them the same color as the jersey.
Yeah, they blend in.
So I think it's Highmark for... Is it Highmark for Pittsburgh? I don't remember.
I think it's MGM for...
It's MGM for the
Washington.
Capitals. I don't remember who it is for Pittsburgh, but they made the patch the same color as the jersey, so you just see the word, which is, I think, white. Toronto's, I know, just says milk on it, which is, I think, is really funny.
I'm fine with that ad.
As long as they start selling bagged milk at all Toronto Maple Leaf home games.
Oh,
I know Canadians like their bagged milk.
I mean...
So.
I'm not against it.
I've never had bagged milk. It sounds weird in concept.
College. Huh? You know how you pour your milk in college?
But they just buy straight up bags of milk from the store.
I know. And they have
just seems like a weird concept.
And they have a receptacle that they put it in, and that's where they get their milk from.
Like I'm not saying it's bad. It's just it's a weird concept to America.
It's the same thing as boxed wine. That wine comes in a bag.
Are you Canadian?
No.
Then shut up. You don't even drink it. You drink from the carton like the rest of us.
I drink oat milk. Thank you very much.
I drink both. Because I'm a growing boy. Anyway, so I'm sure you'll see a lot of complaining online of jersey advertisements. I got to say, I don't care that much. Just because it means that my team in my favorite league... that's going to keep going, and they're getting money. So, I don't care. So, depending on what the advertisement is, I suppose. Because if it's like the Florida Panthers now are being sponsored by Donald Trump, and it just says Trump 2024 on their jerseys.
I'm not okay with it. Yeah,
3 years like that. Maybe I'd be like, maybe we don't do political ones. But
I mean.
The fact that the Toronto Maple Leafs one's just going to say milk, you cannot tell me that isn't funny.
It's hilarious. The fact that they Montreal almost burned the city down.
That's also really funny. Yeah, that's also really funny.
They're real pissed.
I forget who the other ones. I want to say New Jersey maybe has it too.
Is it New Jersey or New York?
It's not the Rangers because I know that they were very much like.
It's Boston.
Is it Boston?
I think
it's 7 teams. It's not all the teams. It's only a handful of them.
But
it was a lot of the Northeast teams.
It's a couple of original 6 teams, which is
Montreal and Toronto.
Yeah.
So I don't know who all it is. I've just seen the ones of those 4 that I've mentioned. So we'll see. Yeah, I mean, look at every soccer league. It doesn't even say the team's name on their jersey. It just says like Fly Emirates
but that
on a lot of them.
Doesn't mean good. That's not good.
I'm not saying it's good. I'm just saying look at that. No one really cares about that over there. In fact, people buy those jerseys and it just says Fly Emirates on their shirt, and you're still like, what team is that?
The one that's on the little chest.
I don't know. I don't watch soccer. There was a trade between the New York Rangers and the Dallas Stars. The Rangers sent Nils Lundquist.
Ooh, that's a fun
who
name.
is a young defenseman, but he's a right side defenseman.
Oh, yes.
So he was kind of stuck in the logjam of defensemen.
I can't believe that's happened in this past month.
I know,
it just
right?
felt so long ago.
Yeah, I'll be honest. This past month, I was thinking about it today. I was like, it has felt like an eternity since the last time we recorded. Nils Lundquist went to Dallas for a conditional first and a conditional fourth.
He demanded a trade.
Yeah.
He did.
I mean, he was just kind of stuck in a logjam behind Fox and who's the other right side defenseman? Trouba.
Yeah.
And so he was at best going to get third pairing minutes, and he thinks he's better than that, which he might be. So he gets to go play with Dallas now.
Yeah.
Whatever.
It's a good pickup. It's a good. There's a good trade for both teams.
Yeah.
Because Dallas needs another defensive.
Dallas needs all the help they can get. Let's be honest.
Dallas needs a lot of help they can get, and
that's kind of a replacement for Klingberg in a way.
Kind of.
Yeah.
New York gets a first and a conditional fourth.
Yeah, the conditional first is, I don't remember what the fourth conditions are, but the first is a top 10 lottery protected pick. So if it's that, then it flips to 2024 where there are no protections anymore. The fourth, I don't remember what that is. But
if it came to the trade deadline, Lundquist was going to command way more than just a first.
Oh, yeah.
So
I think it's a good trade for both teams.
It's a good trade for both teams.
Yeah. So I'm assuming Dallas is thinking, we'll make the playoffs again this year, which maybe. So that first will be in the 20s, hopefully somewhere. So that won't be that big of a loss. And, Lundquist is pretty young. So I think he's 21 or 22. So,
right.
Yeah. That first round pick is pretty much a wash at that point.
Yeah, that's on par. It could be anybody.
Yeah. Could be Nils Lundquist. Lundquist. I want to say Lundquist. It's not. It doesn't have the G.
No, I know.
Anyway, moving on. Zdeno Chara, Keith Yandel, and PK Subban all retired within 24 hours.
Of each other.
No, just in a 24-hour span.
Yeah.
All retired.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yandel went first, and then Chara, and then like an hour after Chara, PK Subban announced it too. So
yes.
I don't know if they planned that all together. If I was Subban, I would be mad. I'd be like, God damn it. The one guy that would probably be like more recognition than me, Chara.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to retire too, like 20 minutes before I went on whatever my interview was. So yeah, Chara's going to go to the Hall of Fame. The other two, probably not.
Probably not.
I wouldn't think so. Both had good careers.
But
I don't think Hall of Fame worthy. Not like Chara.
Subban didn't keep it up for long enough.
No, he started with, if he had kept up his production and play from like the beginning of his career the entire time,
all
maybe.
of Montreal in the first half of Nashville
then
kept going 100%.
Yeah, Hall of Fame definitely, but
injuries
really hampered the back part of his career. Same thing. Well, actually, no. Yandel has his Ironman streak that's going to be broken 7 games into the season by Phil Kessel. Excuse me.
Unless Mike Babcock's the coach, but he's not. So.
He's not. So yeah, but all three of them Chara, an exceptional career, Hall of Fame worthy.
Yep.
The other two, very good careers. Right off into the sunset. Right off to TSN, PK Subban. I know you're going to be a talking head somewhere because you're very charismatic.
He should be.
Yeah.
I saw him.
He's extremely charismatic.
I saw him do that impression of Don Cherry with the suit.
He should just do that on whatever show he gets hired for. He should just do that every show.
Get the other guy who was with Don Cherry. Just like
just replace Don Cherry with
PK Subban.
That would actually be pretty funny.
That'd make Don Cherry so mad.
Oh, Don Cherry would be so angry.
Oh man, yeah. Like
he'll be so angry he'll say something bad about Muslim people again. That's what he got fired for, right?
I think so.
Yeah. Oh, Don Cherry, you're a piece of crap. Anyway, moving on to a pretty big piece of news. Nathan McKinnon got his extension.
It's not a piece of crap.
Boy, is it a whopper of an extension. 8 years, $12.6 million per year. Suck it, McDavid.
0.1 million.
0.1 higher than McDavid.
Yep.
So McKinnon is now the highest paid player. Odds are, with the salary cap going up the way it is, he'll probably only hold that distinction for a few years.
Until Austin Matthews is done.
Ooh, that's coming up in
Yeah,
a couple
it
of
is.
years.
Yeah, it
so
is.
until Austin Matthews is up for an extension, and maybe even, Pasternak is still...
Oh yeah.
They're still trying to hammer out a deal right now, so I don't think it'll be above McKinnon's, but
I don't think Pasta will break that.
Pasta will be close though.
Oh,
I bet like 11 and a half, something like that.
Oh yeah. Because what is he making? 9?
No, it was something weird. It was like 6.667 or something like that, wasn't it? He has the weird.
He's got 6
the devil's number career.
He's got 6 to the infinite.
Yeah, he has the mark of the beast contract. Moving on. So, congratulations, McKinnon. Deserved.
Yeah.
Got your Stanley Cup.
You got your cup.
Got the bag. Congrats.
Yeah.
Somebody who's not having a very good time is Ryan Ellis.
Nope.
He is very likely not going to play this year. His injuries, I don't remember if he had a setback or what, or he's just not progressing or healing correctly, but there is some whisper that his career might be over too, which is very sad.
Yep. Don't like to go out like that.
Boy, he just got cursed when he went to Philadelphia. He played 4 games for them and then was hurt, and his career is now over, so that's awful. Yeah.
I mean,
that sucks.
Philadelphia's cursed right now.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, they got Tony DeAngelo.
They got
John Tortorella.
Nick Deslauriers.
Nick Deslauriers.
Nick Deslauriers.
No, I always want to say it wrong too, but it's Deslauriers.
Yeah.
Delaceras.
Deslauriers. They got Nick Deslauriers.
Oh,
they made a comment about like
Tortorella said something funny the other day about the team and how much they suck or something like that. I can't remember what it was though. But it was like, it was nicer than that, but it was essentially like, yeah, we got a lot of work to do. So, say what you will about Tortorella, he's kind of annoying, but he is a good coach.
Yes, he is.
And by all accounts, I think
dude.
he's a very nice person too. He's just a very hard coach. He's very stern.
Yeah.
But he's a very good person. All of his players love him. So.
Yeah.
He's just kind of, crotchety in interviews. Jake Gardner. Speaking of people whose careers are probably over, his career is likely over, unfortunately.
Injuries, not sexual assaults.
No. No. We're past that now. We're past that part of the episode. Like I said, we're going to start with that, the bad things, and then taper off into less bad things.
Right.
But yeah, so that was kind of, the writing was on the wall. It's not definite. He hasn't announced his retirement or anything like that, but he didn't play at all last year.
No, he did not.
And I think he's just like...
And I think he said he's not going...
He's not playing this year.
Yeah,
so he's just going... He's LTIR retired at this point. I think this is the last year of his contract, so probably after that. Because in the NHL, if you retire while still under contract, there are
penalties and
cap recapture penalties for it. That would be why Shea Weber has not retired, because if he did, Nashville would have to pay something like a $14 million cap hit.
Yep.
That would just destroy them. Look at Minnesota.
Yeah.
That's,
oh, buddy.
Yeah. The Coyotes re-signed Barrett Hayton to a 2-year, $1.775 million per year. He's depth forward. Not going to make the Coyotes much better this year.
No.
Coyote
bad team.
Their last preseason game, who was it against? Oh, Toronto, maybe? I don't remember.
I know. I just know they had 7 shots.
They got 7 shots in that game. Now
the game
in the entire game.
Now it's preseason.
The preseason. That's why we're not really mentioning any of the preseason games. None of it matters except for injuries. Nothing matters.
No.
You could have a guy on your team play amazing in the preseason and score 2 goals the entire year.
Yeah, no.
So it doesn't matter.
Preseason doesn't matter.
But it was pretty funny. And the Penguins' first game of the season is against them. So keep that energy going into that game, boys.
I'll watch you lose.
Shut up. Marco Scandella is out at least 6 months with a hip injury.
Oh, hip injuries
for St. Louis. Speaking of lower body injuries, Gabriel Landeskog is going to miss the beginning of the season. Remember,
we knew that.
He came back
his ankle
early. It's either his ankle or his knee. But remember, he was injured for like the last third of the season or so, and then came back in the playoffs, but then was like clearly like not 100% in the playoffs. Hey, they won the championship anyway. So, Jágr finally mulling retirement from just hockey in general.
He's a player manager in the Czech Republic now.
Well, he is 50. He's like 52 or something right now. So like, he's I guess being like, maybe I'll stop playing.
Maybe I'll stop skating.
And then thankfully, I'm really hoping the Penguins will retire his number at that point. I think they will, but who the fuck knows?
Who knows?
He may just be trolling everybody. He does that too. Go ahead.
No, it's not actually important.
Okay. Another big contract extension. Mathew Barzal has re-signed with the Islanders. 8 years, $9.15 million.
This is a very good signing for the Islanders.
I think it's a good signing for both of them, especially since, and I know that this isn't indicative of his play, but Mathew Barzal scored 15 goals last year.
It is a little indicative of his play because he doesn't
They played
shoot.
in a heavily defensive system last year, the last several years, so like his numbers might have been depressed because of that. But he's still young. I know I'm not saying it's a bad contract.
No. Basically the one critique
he's
for
25
him,
tops.
Yeah, the one critique for him that's been the same critique for years is that he needs to score more, and he'll take the extra pass instead of score.
Yeah, but guys like Crosby were pretty.
And I mean the extra pass
that was lobbied at him too, which was correct.
I think the extra pass and like not to something that doesn't work out when you had the shot.
Gotcha.
That's what I mean. That extra pass.
No, I feel you.
So passing an extra pass to a slam dunk tap in.
Yeah, whatever then. Well, he
matter.
still had like 75 points or something last year. He had a lot of assists. So there, this isn't a bad contract by any means.
No, not at all.
But if he can get his goal scoring up to 25 or 30, I don't think anybody's going to sniff at this contract.
No, the Islanders need a goal scorer.
Yeah,
and he's got to be that guy.
They need it bad.
So with this contract, he needs to be that guy.
I would sit him down and be like, you need to do this.
Stop scoring. Stop passing.
Well, they have a couple of good goal scorers in Andersley and his name is escaping me. Andersley and someone else.
Beauvillier had a bad year.
Yeah. A lot of them had a bad year offensively last year, but we'll see. If he bounces back, the Islanders could bounce back pretty hard too. So.
Yes.
Scott Perunovich is also out for about 6 months. That's another St. Louis defenseman.
Yeah, that's not good for St. Louis.
For shoulder surgery. So St. Louis's blue line is going to be a little hampered for, a good portion of the season, now that I think about it. Carolina signed Calvin DeHaan, who was on a PTO, to a 1-year, $850K deal.
That one was funny. Because when he originally left Carolina, there was someone.
I was gonna say he played on Carolina recently.
Someone tweeted just like come back to Carolina, in that tweet.
It was the picture.
It was a picture. It's like come back, and he's like no, and that was 3-4 years ago.
Yeah.
And then he went back and retweeted "JK, I'm back" when he got signed.
And wasn't it? It was some reporter's child drew a picture of him.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Can I use that picture as my profile picture?" And the reporter was like, "Of course you can."
Yeah.
And he immediately changed it. It's like
Yeah.
this really terrible children's drawing. But it was really cute, you know. Speaking of people being re-signed, let me just finish mine and then you can do the Atlantic.
Yeah.
Sound good? Because I think I only have a few more after this one.
Sounds good.
The Dallas Stars mercifully re-signed Jason Robertson to a 4-year, $7.75 million deal, which is, I think, almost the entirety of the rest of the cap space that they had.
Super team friendly.
Very team friendly, but I was like, when I first saw this, I was like, what is he doing? What is Robertson doing? But then you want to explain what you said to me. That made me think like, oh, okay.
So this is a 4-year deal.
Yeah.
So this leads him to 1 year left of
RFA. Yep.
And at that 1 year, he basically holds all the cards.
Oh, yeah.
Where if he likes where the team is heading, if he wants to stay in Dallas, he can sign a big money contract, stay in Dallas.
It's going to be a huge money contract if he gets a couple more 40-goal seasons under his belt.
Right.
Yeah.
But if he doesn't want to stay in Dallas, he can basically say, hey, I'm not going to play, and then he can get traded to wherever he wants to get traded to. And they might just do a Matt Tkachuk style sign and trade.
Yeah. Blockbuster deals are always fun.
Yeah, so this is basically both parties trusting each other of, hey, you guys will be better a couple years down the line, because 1 year before his deal ends, Ben's contract goes off the book, or Sagan's contract.
I think both of them come off the books.
They both come off the books during the course of this bridge deal, but one comes off before the other.
So they're going to be like, here's all that money.
They're going to have more money available to either to get good supporting cast around him, where they can still be competitive, or just give him that money. So
yeah, I don't know how to feel about Dallas this year. I'm happy they got Robertson under contract and Ottinger too.
This seems like a very smart move.
Oh, absolutely. I don't know that the entirety of the team is going to do well this year, but I guess we'll see.
No, that's true. But if they keep making moves like this, they're going to very much be going in the right direction.
Yeah. I agree.
And there's another big contract that disappears during his I think it begins with an F.
Foxa?
Yeah.
I think they like Roddick Foxa, though.
Yeah, but I think...
well, I guess they would probably rather have Robertson than Foxa, so... that trade that we've been alluding to a couple of times so far, the Chicago Blackhawks and the Vancouver Canucks did one of them their trades.
Mm-hmm.
And Vancouver sent Jason Dickinson to Chicago.
Yes, they did.
For Riley Stillman and a 2024 second-round pick. Why does that sound wrong? I feel like...
Why does...
I think the second pick went to Chicago, actually. I think I wrote it down wrong. Give me 1 second. Yes, I was wrong. Chicago got that second-round pick.
Okay, cool.
It was the reverse of what I said. So Riley Stillman went to Vancouver for Jason Dickinson and a 2024 second-round pick from Vancouver.
Yes.
So sorry about that. Yeah, that's like a cap-related deal, essentially. I think Stillman's making like half of what Dickinson was making. So whatever.
And you take the second round, take the cap.
Yeah. So I mean, Chicago's they know they're gonna be really bad this year.
They've accepted it.
I feel like Patrick Kane's gonna get traded at the trade deadline this year.
He'll help the team out when he does.
Yeah. Oh, sure. He'll get a king's ransom, especially if he's having a good year. I don't know. I don't want to try to predict who to, but one of our coworkers is insisting he's going to get traded to the Rangers at some point. So, but that guy is a Rangers fan, so I should start insisting back to him that the Penguins are going to get him.
Oh man!
And he's going to play on a line with Malkin. That would be a dirty ass line. But he's like, oh, he'll go and play with Panarin, his best friend. I'm like, I guess.
Or he can go play with his best friend in Ottawa.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Especially if Ottawa's like in the playoff hunt.
Mm-hmm. I don't think Ottawa has the cap.
I don't know. I don't have the cap numbers.
Or who would they want to give up, or what they want to give up for Kane.
Here's Formenton, Chicago.
I mean, with your guys' history, you're fine with this, right?
Yeah, Chicago would actually probably be like, yeah, I'm sure he's fine. We won't look into this any further.
Yeah.
This was another one I forgot to. You know what? I'm going to skip over. No, I'm not going to. The Oilers AHL athletic director has gotten fired for misconduct with a minor as well.
Oh, great.
I knew there was a third one I meant to mention at the top of the show.
Good.
So yeah. Cool.
While we're on the Oilers
go ahead.
and gross stuff right now.
Oilanders.
The Oilanders with gross stuff right now. Jake Furtman.
He got cut from his PTO.
Yeah, he had a PTO. He got cut from it. And I think one of those damning things was a bunch of the Oilanders. You did that to me.
You said it first.
The first time was a mistake. Now it's in my brain. They're the Oilanders.
It's like back in World War II when the Steelers and Eagles didn't have enough players, and so they joined together for a season and were the Steagles.
The Steagles, yeah.
The New York Islanders and the Edmonton Oilers are joining forces to become the Oilanders.
The Oilers went on a fishing trip and took a picture. And Evander Kane cut Jake out of that picture.
Did he really?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, the pillar of decency, Evander Kane.
Look, if you're too hot for Evander Kane, like you can't be seen next to me.
Like,
it's not good. It's not good for my image.
I'm not getting a picture taken with you. No way, man.
You're not good for my image.
That's so funny. Oh Jesus!
Like
oh my God.
He's clearly cropped out.
That's
of
really
that
funny.
picture.
Yeah,
it's
that's
hilarious.
So speaking of the Oilanders, they actually did a trade too.
Yeah, they did.
They got Klim Kostin from St. Louis for Dmitry Samorukov.
They have the same colors.
St. Louis doesn't have orange.
What?
What are you talking
The
about?
Oilanders.
Oh, I guess you're right. Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah. So Kostin, I guess he just has not developed for St. Louis.
Right.
He was going to get put on waivers anyway.
Yep.
So hey, they just flipped him for, I'm assuming, a young defenseman. Kostin's still like 24 or 25, something like that. So he has time
hoping he
to,
can develop,
he can turn it around. And finally, the New York Rangers signed Jimmy Vesey to a 1-year, $750K contract after he had a PTO with the team.
Look, if you put the fisherman in some overalls
and just drenched him in oil,
put him in the field, that's an Oilander.
The Oilanders.
For the rest of the season.
Oilanders legend Roberto Lugano.
Yes. Shut up! I forgot who you fucked up.
Hey, he did play for the Islanders at the beginning of his career.
Luongo did?
Yeah, he got drafted by the Islanders.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
He was drafted the year before DiPietro, and then they picked DiPietro over Luongo.
Oh man, that's a bad call.
I'm sorry. We're having too much fun. We're having too much fun here.
All right, Boston has.
They're still paying DiPietro.
Yeah, they are. I mean, Mike Milbury is great.
That was all his fault.
A great GM.
He was the one who traded he's the one who traded Chara for Yashin.
Yep.
Chara and a bunch of other stuff for Alexei Yashin. Oh, Mike Milbury.
Oh. I know
He's a piece of shit.
I know I've said this on this podcast before, where
Sorry, my dog was licking her paws.
Mike Milbury and a bunch of panel heads were talking. Someone had just gotten the GM job or president's job and not getting the GM job, being a GM before. Yeah. And she's like, man, I really wish that I could have just skipped being a GM and gone straight to president. The other guy was just like, I bet the Islanders wish that too. On air. Just the savage.
He went into the stands and beat somebody with their own shoe.
Yeah. But that was on Boston.
That was when he was a player, I think. Or was he the coach? I don't remember.
He was the coach.
Oh my God, Mike Milbury. Oh, I don't have to hear him anymore.
No.
He's not on anything.
No.
Because he was like...
Speaking of Boston, they haven't done anything.
Okay. They don't have any cap space.
Nope.
Oh, no, they did put one of the bigger names on waivers. I know we said we weren't going to mention waivers, but they did put Mike Riley on waivers.
They did?
Defenseman. Yeah, they did. He cleared, though. Yeah.
Surprised he cleared.
Well, nobody really has cap space.
Fair.
And he has a $3 million cap hit.
For Montreal, besides the stuff we've mentioned, Jake Allen
Oh yeah, they extended him.
got an extension.
Yeah.
He got rewarded for getting shelled.
Hey, at least he's getting paid for it.
2
He's
year-
gonna get shelled again this year.
Yes, he is. 2 years, $3.85 million. Now, a lot of people are just like, why are you paying this money for a goalie when you have Price? And it's because Price isn't coming back.
Yeah, no, he's gonna. He's done.
Yeah. So
Unfortunately.
Allen's your goalie going forward.
Yeah, with
Which is
Montembeau and
Primo.
Primo. Yeah, I'm sure they don't want Primo to play.
Any
Or is it
more than
Primo, whatever. You know who we're talking. Caden Primo.
Yep.
I'm sure they don't want him to play that much. Sorry, I keep interrupting you.
No, because last year, Caden played 12 games. He had a 4.62 goals against average with a 868 save percentage.
That can really mess up a young goalie.
He got shelled. I think there was a month where he because he had to play.
Yeah, because of injuries. Yeah. Montembeau's hand fell off.
Yeah,
Essentially.
he played through it, but he wasn't playing well.
No.
But Primo was in there, and I think he got pulled from every start for a month, which is so bad.
Well,
and then he had to get put back in one of those games. No, Montembeau had to get put back in one of those
Silver
games.
lining, Montembeau is at least healthy this season.
Yep. So Jake Allen, 35 games, 3.3 goals against average with a 905 save percentage, which against that defense, being behind that defense,
Did you see what that defense looks like?
Excellent.
Do you see what it looks like this year? Oh yeah, no, you're right.
A 905 is so good.
Yeah, that's pretty good actually. Yeah, I'm sorry. I saw today on the hockey subreddit, somebody was like, "Here's what the Canadians' starting defensive lineup is going to be, and the best overall defenseman on their team is Mike Matheson.
Yeah.
Who is not a bad defenseman by any means.
But he's not your star.
He is top 4 at best, and he's going to be their number 1.
Yep.
So, Godspeed, Mike Matheson.
Jake Allen.
Godspeed, both of you. Because people are going to be like, those guys are terrible this year. So, just remember, you're trying to lose for Bedard. That's what you want. If you're one of these lower
Suck
tier
hard
teams.
for Bedard.
Exactly. He's been killing it in juniors so far.
He has.
So.
Toronto signed their RFA Rasmus Sandin. 2 years, I believe it was. 2 years, $1.4 million.
Wasn't that after a bunch of injuries to the defense?
Yes. So he was holding out for more.
And they finally had to cave because a bunch of defensemen were injured.
Well, he still didn't get a lot, but he wants more playing time. A bunch of defensemen are injured, so now he gets that playing time. So we'll see what
At least for the first portion of the season.
So we'll see what he does with it for the next 2 years. And then played 51 games last year, scoring 19 points.
It's not bad for a defenseman.
No.
Excuse me.
The Lightning
Whoa.
didn't do anything.
No cap space.
Nope, no cap space. Didn't do nothing. Florida did something. They prepared for the future by signing Spencer Knight.
Oh, right. I saw that.
22-year-old goalie.
Yeah, he played pretty well last year.
He played okay.
Bobrovsky played a little better.
2 years ago, he played better.
Yeah.
But
he's still a baby boy.
3 years. Yeah, he's 22. 3 years, $4.5 million, which you would say is a lot, but
14.5 for that goalie talent.
Yeah.
That's, boy.
It's a lot.
If Bobrovsky wasn't there, or if his contract was more reasonable, then that contract would be like, okay, yeah, whatever. But Bobrovsky at $10 million is just everybody knew that was a mistake. He played better last year.
Right.
But
It's really crazy how goalies are so valuable.
yeah,
But
they
do
are.
not get paid like they are.
No. It is odd.
And also, they are one of the most expensive positions to develop.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
youth
They're hard to develop, too.
Youth hockey, like, they're expensive as hell. One of those one neep like leg protector can cost $1,000.
Yep.
So if you're like,
They're the rich kids, too.
yeah, all hockey are the rich kids,
Yeah, that's
unfortunately.
true.
But
Unfortunately.
but goalies
Not deck hockey. Ain't no pads in deck hockey.
ain't no pads in deck hockey. It's just crazy how so much of that stuff is mental too.
Oh, yeah.
That you can't trust them and you can't
Yeah.
pay them as much as a lot of them are worth.
Yeah, it's just like I've seen several times people say, "Oh, well, teams have won with not elite goaltenders, have won the Stanley Cup with not elite goaltenders before, or have at least gone to the Stanley Cup
Yep.
without them." And like, yeah, but those guys that they went to the finals with were on like a heater going
Exactly.
into the playoffs. Like,
Look at Murray.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, look
Matt
at how far
Murray.
Matt Murray.
He's
By
getting
all rights, could have won the Conn Smythe in either of those 2 years they won the
100%.
Stanley Cup.
I mean, Matt Murray is getting the start for Toronto this season.
We'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
I wish the best for Matt Murray. He just fell off a cliff.
I've said this before. He's gone through this cycle where he
Yes, yeah.
he plays great. He gets injured or something tragic happens in his life, which throws off his game. He takes a long time to recover. Where, again, it takes a long time to recover, and then he plays great again, and then
it's just a vicious cycle.
Vicious
Yeah.
cycle for him. So hopefully he can.
I
it back
hope
together.
I hope he has a great season for Toronto. I really do. I want the best for him because he was amazing for the Penguins for those 2 years, and I wish nothing but the best for him. So,
But yeah, so Spencer Knight is the future for
the future.
the Panthers, and they're rewarding him for it.
Yeah. Do.
From Detroit.
Detroit
Did nothing.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think they did anything.
Buffalo named their captain
I thought it was an odd choice.
for the first time.
Yeah,
Uh,
since Eichel left.
Eichel,
Yeah.
Kyle Okposo.
I guess he's just been there a really long time.
He's been there a really long time.
I'll be totally
and
honest.
He is a great locker room presence.
Yeah, oh yeah.
He actually should be retiring within the next year or two. I think
Okay, I
his
guess that
contract
makes
is
sense.
up in
Yeah.
the next year
He's
or
like
two.
fairly old at this point.
So they're
yeah.
rewarding him for his time in the locker room.
I mean, he's been there like 7 or 8 years at this point.
Exactly. And he's battled through concussions, mental health,
Being on terrible teams.
mental health issues
Yeah.
from those concussions because he had a bad reaction with medication, stuff like that. So
I mean, it's fine.
he scored like 20 goals, 20, 30 goals last year.
Yeah.
So he was able to like turn some of that around. So they're giving him the C for now until he retires, and it's probably going to Dahlin.
Or Tuck.
I don't know. I think Dahlin is
We'll see.
yeah.
We'll see who gets it.
Dahlin's been there for a long time.
3 years.
It feels
That
like
long.
longer.
I know, it does, right? Time is weird through COVID. It has both felt very slow and very fast at the same time.
I think this is his 4th year there thinking about it. Did he get drafted in 2018?
I don't think so. I think he's still on this entry-level contract. I'm not 100% certain. Keep talking. I'll look it up.
But yeah,
I don't remember him signing an extension.
So I think Dahlin and who else got the A's? I
have no idea.
can't remember.
I don't honestly normally.
So
pay
congrats
attention
to Okposo for
that's great.
getting that
Oh
captaincy.
he is he's 22. Is Dahlin. So this is potentially his 5th year.
Ooh,
Yeah, he got drafted in 2018.
I was right.
I just didn't remember him signing an extension.
Math is bad for me because
That's whatever.
thought it was 2021 for a second.
That's not math. That's just forgetting what year it is.
Yeah, but still, Ottawa hasn't done anything. So
they're working on an extension for DeBrincat, though.
Yes, they
I've
are.
heard. Yeah, as they should.
But we will see.
We'll see. That all you got?
That's all I got.
All right. Well, thank you guys for listening, as always. We'll be back next week. We'll be talking about some games.
We'll have games to talk about.
We'll have games to talk about. I think everybody will have played by then, and not just two teams playing in Prague. But we hope you join us for that, and we look forward to it.
We'll talk about more teal.
More teal. So much more teal. It's weird. Every team is turning their colors to teal this year.
And I'm all for it.
Oh, boy. But we will see you next week. Please follow us wherever podcasts are found. Tell all your friends who like hockey to listen to us. That would be nice for us.
Because we're talking about hockey out here.
Because we're talking about hockey out here, baby. And we'll see you next week at the same puck time.
Same puck place.
Bye.